Bad Magic. And it's your boy, Icon, with another Marvel Disney Plus review for you, going over that Ironheart episode 4. So, we got the first 3 episodes last week, and then we got the last 3 episodes this week. Happy 4th of July to everybody, and clearly Disney's trying to get this shit over with as quickly as possible, because they've never actually, put out a whole season in 2 weeks. So before we get started, hit that notification bell. As always, like and subscribe. Check out my other reviews for Ironheart, and let's get started, because the internet was all ablaze, and especially for me, because I do reviews for all these, superhero TV shows and movies, etc., and I always post maybe like a 30 to 1 minute clip of my full review on other socials, like X and Instagram and TikTok and blah, blah, blah. And for the other guy, the people, especially on TikTok, y'all came for me when I made my assessment on the first 3 episodes of the show. And for some reason, using the word ratchet triggered a lot of people for no reason. And it's not my fault they decided to make the character hood as hell. It's not my fault they decided to dress her up like a boy and have her acting like a dude. I just pointed it out. But like I said, I am enjoying the show, because I'm not one of those people that's just like, oh, this is garbage. Because the show isn't garbage. Like I said, the hood aspects of it, it's kind of like it makes me roll my eyes a little bit, because I feel like they're trying too hard to be like unnecessarily stereotypical black at times, and I feel like there's a little bit too much on it. But there is a good story here. Like, I actually am enjoying the story, and I like the dynamic between Natalie and Riri, although she ghetto as hell too. So this particular episode, in the last episode, we found out, Parker found out, because the cloak told him that Riri was the one that killed John. So now he's upset and he wants his revenge. And just like John did with his last tech person, when his last tech person kind of messed up, he low-key replaced him with Riri. He's now at the point where he's about to replace Riri with somebody else, because he knows the truth. He knows that she was the one that killed John. They had a little memorial for John where everybody was going around saying things that they liked about him, which nobody really said. But then Parker was just like, I liked his loyalty. And then he said, we got a job coming up, everybody, so let's get ready to do our job. So then Riri was like, hey, do you got a job for me? And he was like, don't worry. He was like, I definitely have something planned for you. And then she was just like, I know what that means. And then, she started coming up with all these countermeasures to protect her friends and family. She came up with these wristwatches. And for everybody that's just that was mad over the fact that she made the comment about Tony Stark only being able to do what he can do because he has money, that's not true, because again, he built his first Iron Man suit in a cave with spare parts, and Riri's basically doing the same thing. So because she's doing the same thing, like the thing is, she's like, oh, I ain't got no money. The girl built force field bracelets. She built force field bracelets. So I don't see where the money plays a factor in all that, but maybe she used the money that she got from robbing banks and stuff with Parker and the gang. But see, so she makes these bracelets for her friends and family to protect them in case anything happens. She's a little paranoid now because she's sleeping in the suit. She's legitimately sleeping in the suit, because she thinks that, Parker's going to strike at any moment, and she's trying to figure out what to do. She talks to her mom for a little bit. Her mama can't do nothing. And then they find out on the news that good old Joe, like average Joe, he got arrested because he told her when she borrowed that laser from him, he said, do not lose this laser, because if you lose it, they can track it back to me. She lost it. They tracked it back to him, and they arrested Joe. The entire thing that Parker and the gang did while they were there, they blamed that whole thing on Joe, because it was his tech that was in there. So I guess they probably blame him for killing the guy and for burning down, the greenhouse and everything. So they arrested Joe, and Joe took the fall. Riri went to him to go talk to him. He basically told her to kick rocks. And then instead, now that she feels guilty over that. She feels guilty over the fact that she set him up, and she promised she would get him out of jail. But the way she shows remorse for that is she breaks into his laboratory and uses his laboratory to try to destroy that piece of cloak that was on the hood that she had burnt off. Before she tried to figure out, how to destroy it, her and her mama got together, because her mom was like, honey, she was like, you're a little crazy, like, you're not sleeping well, you're a little, you're having like panic attacks and anxiety. So she was like, oh, you need like a spa treatment, or you need some herbal organic crap to calm you down. So we go back to Cree Summers. That brings back Cree Summers, aka Freddie from a different world. I called her Kimberly last time. She was Freddie. So she's back, and come to find out, and this I actually liked, come to find out, not only is Cree Summer's character, because she was talking all like all that spiritual nonsense and the flowers and the kumbaya and like all that hippie shit, come to find out she's actually a witch. And it makes sense because, you know, we got Doctor Strange, you had Agatha all along. She's actually one of the witches, which is good. And I like that for her character because, like, you know, she has that perfect vibe to be the type of character. The thing about it that I didn't like, I can see going forward, I'm not going to like her daughter because her daughter is annoying as hell. She looks ridiculous. Why is she wearing a ski hat in the summertime? Her t-shirt was very unnecessary. And she's just one of those millennials that just doesn't listen and is just, she just comes across as like very entitled. And she looked like Thelma from Scooby-Doo with them glasses on. And then where's her daddy? Like, why the girl ain't got no daddy? Like, what's the theme in the show with nobody having an actual daddy? Because Cree Summers even said, because they said that Cree Summers, she was a witch and then she dropped out of witch school when she got pregnant. And then, you know, the daughter was like, oh, but you could have still studied. And then I could have been around real witches and blah, blah, blah. And then Cree said she was like, oh, we decided to bring you back to Chicago to keep you safe. I'm assuming the we is both her and the girl's father, like the actual parent, like the other parent. It was a two-parent decision to bring her back to Chicago. Where her daddy at? Like, nobody on this show has a daddy. They take her to a pocket dimension. They look at the cloak. And then when Cree Summers finds out that the cloak belongs to the evil entity that's taken over Parker, she brought them back to reality and kicked them out of her shop. And she's like, don't bring this shit anywhere around me and me and my child ever again. Obviously, the daughter is not going to listen because the daughter just seems like a hard head that don't listen to nobody. At some point, in order to defeat Parker, like as Uncle once said in Jackie Chan Adventures, magic must defeat magic. So the girl gonna come back at some point, and I can just tell she's gonna be annoyed as hell. But so they got kicked out. They kicked her out the shop, and then Riri now she has to try to figure out how to destroy the cloak on her own. She can't do it. She's in Joe's shop trying to figure out how to destroy it, and it's not working. Parker ends up going to visit Joe in prison. We find out that his actual name is not Joe, it's Ezekiel. He goes to visit Ezekiel, and he's just like, hey, Riri Williams basically set you up. I can use your tech expertise because he's the person that Parker is going to replace Riri with. He said if you want to die in the cell as Joe McGillicuddy, or if you want Ezekiel Stan to actually mean something, he said, you know, I'll come back tonight when lights are out, and then we'll come get you. When lights go out, you know, he wakes up, he goes walking through like this hallway tunnel, and then he sees Parker's gang outside, and then he ends up joining Parker's gang. Riri now, because she can't figure out how to destroy his cloak and she can't figure out how to defeat him, she starts having another panic attack because she doesn't know what to do. She lands, like the suit basically takes her down, she lands at a junkyard, and then while she's having the panic attack in the junkyard, Natalie decides to go get the guy that likes Riri, which is her older brother. She actually kidnaps her brother, throws him in the suit, and brings him to where Riri is. He sees Riri, the two of them hug, they hint at a love interest, which I'm still not seeing, and then while the two of them are talking and conversating, Natalie makes herself visible to her brother, and then her brother freaked out. And I understand his freak out. Like the thing is, she did a poor job of explaining the situation to him, but I get it. She was in the middle of having a panic attack. His overreaction is justified, but he could have just like listened to her, you know. But even then, like I don't even think she still officially understands like how she did it. And his whole thing was, and it was basically like the same conversation people were having with these holograms and with AI. He basically said, by you doing this, you're basically trying to freeze my dead sister's soul in time, and you're not allowing her to like rest in peace. You're still keeping her here. And then he got mad. He threw his watch on the floor, and then like, you know, he called her a piece of shit, and he walked away. So now he's upset. Like, she crying over that. The suit got mad because she was like, oh, I can't get rid of her. She was like, once you get to know her, you know, it's like, she's like, I can't really get rid of her. She's like, what do you want me to do? And then he was like, you delete her. He was just like, you know, to honor my sister's memory, he was like, delete this AI foolishness immediately. And then because she didn't defend not deleting it, then Natalie took offense to it, and then she dipped in the suit. And I'm like, you're an AI. Why you got that? It's like, you're an AI. You should not be that offended or feel that level of emotion. And that's the problem with the whole AI thing. Like I said, she should have either just thought she was Natalie the whole time, or she should have just been an AI that just happens to be Natalie and is learning about Natalie. It's like she's trying to be both an AI and Natalie at the same time, and it's like, that's not really working well because you're an AI. Why are you that emotional? And then like, you know, why are all these emotions pumped into the character? Especially because the character knows she's an AI. So I mean, she didn't, and then it's like she didn't. So she's emotional about that, but she didn't react when the brother basically rejected her and said that she was a thing and needed to be put down. So she didn't react to that, but it's just like it's a weird dynamic. So then I said, but the suit dipped. Like the suit dipped. The brother walked away. Riri's just standing there in the junkyard having a panic attack, and like nobody cares. So now back to Parker and the gang. They stole some stuff for him. He built some shit in a lab. He got a haircut. He put himself down on a table, and they're injecting him with something. I don't know if he's building himself an Iron Man suit, because that's what I mean. Marvel does like to do the copycat villain thing, so maybe he's building his own Iron Man suit. I don't know what he's doing, but basically he's turning into something, and I don't know if he's gonna merge with Parker, but Parker is just like, yeah, we got this bitch now, and like they're ready to kick Riri ass. That's how the episode ended. And for the love of God, thank you for tuning in. So as I said, it was a decent episode. Like it was definitely a good episode. But I like seeing the dynamic of the struggle, like her struggling with trying to save her family. There was one moment where she was just like, "Oh, why don't we call Shuri?" And then Riri gave the dumbest reason. She was just like, "Oh, how's that gonna look if I call Shuri and say, hey, I need help because there's some magical entity that's trying to kill me because I got with a gang of people to try to like rob places for money because I didn't have any money." She was like, "Shuri's gonna hang up on me," and I'm like, you know better than that, like. That's the weakest reason I ever heard, just to be like, I don't want to call her because I'm embarrassed. Like, just say you're embarrassed and you don't want to call her because you don't want to admit to her what you did. But to be like, oh, she's gonna hang up on me, like she's the fucking king of Wakanda. Like she's not gonna hang up on you, especially if you're in trouble and need help. Basically, that was studio speak for, we can't afford to have her on a TV series, so we got to come up with a bullshit way for her not to pop up when you do something stupid. But but aside from that, I am interested to see what the last 2 episodes are about. People are already online talking about like, oh, after that Ironheart ending, all the haters, y'all awfully quiet. I mean, I'm not one of the haters. Like I said, I actually said I like the show in my previous reviews. Like, I do like the show. My whole thing was, it was just like them being ghetto as hell just annoys me from time to time, but I actually do like the show. But for other people to try to be like, oh, the haters ain't got nothing to say, that's a weird take to me, because anybody who hated on the show, they hated on the show based on the first 3 episodes. And if they thought the first 3 episodes sucked, then their feelings are justified. Now that they're going to watch the last 3 episodes, when they do their reviews or do their blogs or whatever the case may be, maybe they'll feel differently about it. Or there's going to be people that's going to be like, oh, I hated it in the beginning, I like it now. Oh, it was trash then, it was trash now. And then there are going to be people that are going to be indifferent. They're going to be like, oh, there's some things I like, some things that I hate. But it doesn't make their original criticism any less valid. So I said, it's weird. It's like, I get it. It's a show about a black superhero, and just because you like it, you get triggered when other people have something negative to say about it. But you can say something negative about something and still think it's good, because like I said, I enjoy Ironheart. There are just a couple of things about it that make me roll my eyes. But share your questions, comments, and concerns down below, and let's continue to talk about what you think about episode 4, and let's keep rolling on. So check out my other reviews for Ironheart. Like I said, I got my coverage for New York Swim Week coming up pretty soon, and we're still trying to put some other stuff out there. I know we got Peacemaker coming, Superman on July 11th. We're definitely gonna review that Superman as we roll on for some more of this superhero goodness. So that was it, guys. So thanks for tuning in. So until next time for some more Ironheart action, episode 5. Look out for that bad magic up in the air. And until then, we're out this bitch!
That's my school. They got a back bleed. Back bleed.